Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jordan from PictureMonk.com, and welcome to episode 58 of the podcast. This one is kind of a cool one. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm actually looking forward to the next few ones that are following this podcast, because these have to do with all of your survey results that I've received. So, for the past couple weeks, I've talked about the PictureMonk podcast survey, and it's just a Google form. You can go to it at PictureMonk.com/podcast survey. And you can fill out a short little survey to let me know what you don't like, what you do like, all this kind of fun stuff that you want to see on the podcast. And so for the past couple weeks, I've been getting a bunch of results in, and I want to go over those in podcasts coming up. So what I'm going to do is every time I see something kind of cool come in that I want to touch on real quick, most likely I'm just going to make a podcast about it, or maybe a YouTube video or something like that, and show you guys that I'm kind of listening to what you guys want for this podcast. Because if you guys aren't listening to it because you're not interested, or you want to see something different than what I'm doing, I don't have a podcast. If you're not listening, I don't have a podcast. So let's go ahead and get into this week's podcast. And this is actually kind of a cool one to start out with, because it's based off of one person who filled out the podcast survey, and his name is Mike Davis from Fort Myers, Florida. And so he actually touched on two things that he would like to see, but the one I'm going to talk about in this main podcast is a whole real estate photography episode. If you've been listening to me on a couple of podcasts, or if you've been following my Instagram, I'm very heavy on Instagram, opposed to like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. If you've been following me on there, I've been doing a lot more photography shoots for clients and stuff like that. So this is actually going to be a really cool podcast, just because I just like talking about it. So, Mike, this one is all for you, buddy. So what we're going to do here is I basically called this Real Estate Photography Revisited, because there was a podcast that I talked about in my, I think it was episode 12 of the PictureMonk podcast, where I talked about a little bit about photography, where I wanted to, I'm looking at my notes, so just in case you see me looking down, where I was talking about kind of what I'm going to do, what I've learned a little bit so far, and that sort of thing. So this one's kind of a cool way to see where all the stuff has been implemented and how it's been going so far. So I'm going to touch on 5 different little things here. The first one is promotional stuff. The second is process from start to finish. Gear is the third one. I kind of talked about that already on a couple podcasts ago, but some people still haven't heard it, and some people kind of want to hear it, so I'm going to knock that one out. And delivery of the files and follow-up. So those are the 5 big things that's kind of what I've been trying to make myself get into, as far as hitting each one of those things every time I do a shoot, or when I'm gearing up to do a shoot, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get started in the first one. The first one is going to be promotional. I don't really have any promotional stuff that has been steadfast. Like, I don't have any major stuff that I'm doing. The main thing that's getting me jobs is my Google listing. I'm actually the first one. If you search, I believe if you just search like real estate photography, Greensboro, North Carolina, because that's the city I live in. If you search that, I think I'm the first Google listing that comes up. I'm not the first website that comes up, because there's another person who's been doing it a lot longer in this area, and I think they are the first one that comes up. I think my website is probably like 10th, 11th, somewhere around there, maybe on the second page. And so I'm not the first website that comes up, but my Google listing is the first one that pops up. And from there, they can go to my website and do all that kind of stuff. So that's the only promotional stuff as far as that's really getting me jobs. The second one is a very large decal on the back of my van. So I have a cool dad van. I love it. And so on the back window, I don't know how far it spans, but it's a pretty big van. And on the back of that window is my huge logo, all from left to right, and then my website underneath, where it just says photographynorthcarolina.com. I don't say anything about portrait photography, real estate photography. I don't say anything about that. I don't say what kind of photography I do, and that's just to get people going to my site. Because let's say somebody's looking for a portrait photographer, and they see my advertisement on the back of my van. Even if they're not looking for a real estate thing, they're still going to visit my site, and I want more traffic coming to it. So, I mean, if they go to my site and see that I'm not a portrait photographer or a wedding photographer or anything like that, I still had some people visit my site, which is kind of cool. So that's the reason that I want to talk about promotional stuff. There's more stuff that I got to do. I got business cards. That's like a shoe-in thing. You got to always have business cards. But I want to do a postcard size, probably not like a 5x7, maybe a little larger, and do like a leave behind. And so it's better than a postcard, or it's better than a business card. And it's a very large postcard. I can actually include a lot of photos on that and some details about me, some links to my stuff, that sort of thing. I want to do that. I do want to do like an online ebook as well, which is not I would sell to people, but it's a online portfolio to where they can flip through and see the stuff that I can do for them and that sort of thing. So that's stuff that's coming in the future, but I don't have it now, but that's kind of what needs to happen. So the next thing I want to talk about is my process from start to finish. So from the time I get a client to the time I deliver the files and follow up. So what basically happens then is so somebody will contact me from either seeing the decal or going to my Google listing and seeing that stuff. They'll contact me and say, hey, can you shoot this house and whatever. And so I was like, yeah, I can probably help you out for that. My pricing for that is X. And so if you look on my site right now, my pricing for all of my jobs, no matter what they are, I have it on my site for $150. So for that, I'll come out there, I'll shoot your house. I don't say a time how long I'm going to be there, because I don't want to restrict them to being there for an hour. I don't have any of that restrictions. It's just a straight $150 for me to do your house, and that's it. And so I'll go out there and I'll shoot the house. But most of the time, they always ask, can you go down on the price or something like that? Because I'm kind of at the top of my area. If you take into account for people doing packages, like if your house is 1,300 square feet, I'll do it for $99. Or if your house is 5,000 square feet, it's going to be $200. I'm kind of at the top as far as a steady range. So what I'll do is I'll say, hey, I can do your house for $150. But if I get the square footage and I know that if your house is 1,500 square feet or something like that, $150 is too much for that. I know that, and I take ownership of that. So I was like, hey, yeah, I can do your house for you, but I'll do it for $125, or I'll do it for $100, or something like that. And so what it kind of does is kind of gives the client a little attaboy, like, yeah, he did me a favor. I can certainly use this guy. So that's kind of my thought process of it. I don't know if it works out that way at all, but that's my thought process of it. And so yeah, I'll go out to the shoot. I'll hit every room. Once I get to the house, I'll meet the client. Hey, is there anything that that I need photos of that I don't know? I'll walk through the house. If they want to show me the house, that's fine. Most of them have shown me the house just to walk through. And so I'll look the house. I'll flip all the light switches on. That's a key thing that a lot of people do miss, is switch all the light switches on in the house. Every light in the house needs to be on and burning. That just adds more light to the photo, obviously, but brightens up everything up. Even if you've got all the windows open, turn the lights on. And so I'll do all the shots. I'll get multiple rooms or multiple angles of each room, and then I'll, before I leave, I'll say, hey, I got this room, kind of run like a mental checklist of all the stuff that I've done, and say, are you sure that I got everything? If you need me to come back out, please let me know. I'll come back out and be happy to take some more photos if there's anything I missed. I don't say, hey, if you're not satisfied, I'll come back out. I'm just saying, if there's anything that I missed that we didn't talk about, I can certainly come out and do that. They've never taken me up on it. I've always gotten all the photos, and they're very happy. So that's a good thing. So I'll come back home, download the files onto to Lightroom. I'll make the own little folder for that property. And then I'll edit the photos and export them in 3 different sizes. I don't have the sizes, but the reason I do different sizes is because the MLS listing for the real estate agents, they do. I wouldn't say they're slow, but they seem to take a long time to boot up and load files. And so I'll do 3 different sizes. I'll do, I think it's 3600 by 2400 pixels, and it's 300 DPI, so that if they want to do some flyers or whatever, they can do that. And then I think the other one is 1800 pixels by 1200 pixels, and that's at 72 DPI. So it's a little larger of a file, but but the DPI is a little lower, so they load a little faster. And then I'll do 640 or 660, I think it's something like that. 660, I believe. 660 by 440 at 72 DPI. I'll do those sizes at 72 DPI, so they'll load a lot faster. And so if they're just smaller images and they need to put them on a gallery, that sort of thing, they'll load a lot faster. Nobody's ever said, "Hey, can you give me different files?" That usually covers the range of what they need. So that's kind of my start to finish, and then I'll just send them like a Dropbox link with the links to the files and just be done with it. And then I'll send an invoice, and that's it. That's one job done. So that's kind of a breeze of my start to finish. So for gear, that's one that everybody wants to talk about, which is not really that important to me, but I do have my Canon 6D. I love that camera. I'm so glad I bought that over the 5D Mark III. I was basically going to pay $1,200 to almost $1,500 more just for a couple features that I really would never use. So yeah, I got my Canon 6D. I'll have my 17 to 40 wide angle lens. I really use that most of the time. Actually did a shoot today where I didn't use it for a majority of the shots, and they all turned out really well. I got a tripod. I don't even know what brand it is. I think it's the Amazon Basics tripod. I love that tripod. It's super cheap, and it does the job. It's perfect. But you never really want to hear a photographer say, "Yeah, I'm shooting with my Basics tripod and getting cool shots." No, you don't ever want to hear that. But it's really a cool tripod. I got a monopod as well, just in case I want to be a little more mobile. Let's see. I got other gear, but that's the only kind of gear that I usually use for real estate shots. I do have my flash unit, in case I want to pop some flashes off in some of the rooms that are a little bit darker. And that is the YN560 version 2, I think. Still a great flash. I love that one. I think I linked that into another podcast. So that's the basic gear that I use. I don't really use anything fancy, and it seems to get the job done. So that just goes to show you, that's my whole little motto thing. You don't need tons of gear to get great shots. And so delivery of the files is kind of what I talked about. But one thing I wanted to say is, if you're delivering files to a client, and the main question they always ask is, when can we get the files once you're done? And so my normal canned response is, normally if I'm shooting the house, I still do my daytime job. So as soon as I leave work, most of the time, as soon as I leave work and I have to go to a house, I'll leave right from work and be at the house for probably about 35 to 45 minutes, get all the shots, come back home and let them download and start working on them that night. But what I'll usually tell them is, I can get you the files tonight, but at the latest tomorrow morning. And the reason I started saying that is because normally by the time I get all the photos edited, because I'm trying to be super quick with the photos and getting to them as soon as possible, I'm doing really fast edits. I'm not doing like any Photoshop work or anything like that. I'm doing really fast edits, running through all of them real quick, exporting them in the 3 different sizes, and then uploading them to Dropbox. The upload speed for all these files is extremely slow. So I could be done editing the files and ready to send them to the client by 9:30, 10 o'clock. But it takes a long time. My internet here is not that great, especially upload speed. The length of time it takes from them to export from my computer onto Dropbox where I can send them is usually like an hour, hour and a half for all of those files. And I just don't want to sit up all night and wait for that to happen. Sometimes I get lucky and, I'm already up doing other things and can send them, around midnight or so. But most of the time I'll let them run overnight, let them upload overnight, write the email real quick. And then in the morning, I can actually just reach over on the nightstand, grab my phone while I'm still in bed and copy the links, paste them, and send them off to the client, and just be done with it that way. So that's kind of what I do as far as that goes. And the last thing is the follow-up. Normally 1 or 2 days after I send the files and after they said they received them and paid for the service, I'll send them an email real quick and say, hey, just wanted to make sure you got the files and you're good with them, and hope you're enjoying the photos and making sure they get up on the listings. Please let me know if you need any other file types or file sizes, that sort of thing. That's kind of what I'll send out, and normally everybody's ready to go. They don't really need anything else from me after that. And so that's kind of the follow-up thing that I do, and it seemed to be working out well. There was actually one time, I think it was the last house or the house before the last house that I shot. I looked on Zillow real quick. Zillow, for those of you who don't know, Zillow.com is like a real estate listing thing where people, you can see how much houses are appraised for and all that kind of stuff. That's ZILLOW.com. But anyway, I was looking on there for the address that I shot, and I saw that on the listing it said that there was already a offer on the house, which was great. I don't know if my photos did that, but I like to think they did. And so that was kind of cool to see. It just kind of goes to show you that when people think real estate photography is kind of one of those things where anybody can do it, and anybody can take their cell phone and go in and go, snap all the rooms with their cell phone, upload them, and just be done with it. That's not how it is. You need really good photos, like everything. It's like portrait photography as well. You see some jackal with a camera and just think he or she can go out there and just, put it on automatic and start taking photos, and they'll be the greatest photos ever. No, you need a pro to go in there. You need someone to go in there who knows what they're doing, who knows how to take the photos, who knows how to edit the photos, who knows how to deliver all the photos that you need. You need someone who does all that, and it's more than just clicking a button. It's way more than all that. So I kind of ended that with a little soapbox rant. I didn't mean to do that, but I did. So that's the kind of 5 things I wanted to talk about. So that I hope Mike Davis. Hope that clears up some of the stuff. I'll probably have another one. I'll probably have another podcast geared towards real estate photography. So look forward to that in the future. But the widget of the week this week, I'm going to end this real quick. The widget of the week real quick is something that Mike also talked about. He said he would like a community page so people can share photos and talk back and forth and maybe compare, hey, I need to know a recommendation for this or whatnot. And so I thought that would be kind of cool. That's what I kind of thought the PictureMonk Facebook page was going to be when I set it up, but maybe I set it up wrong where there's not a lot of people that can comment and post back and forth and do all that stuff. So I set up a Google or a Facebook group page. There it is. A Facebook group page that's a closed group. So I'll have to approve you if you want to join. But the group only has 2 members. That's me and my father right now, but I haven't announced it yet. So this is me announcing it here. It's called the PictureMonk Nation Facebook group page. And to go there, you can go to Facebook and just type in in the search box, type in PictureMonk Nation, and that'll take you there, and you can request to be a member of that Facebook page, or you can just go to picturemonk.com/nation, and you can go there and request to join as well. And so what I want this page to be is kind of what Mike was saying. I keep wanting to say Michael. What Mike was saying, a place for everybody to go and post photos that they've taken, ask for advice, post slideshows, post videos that are cool, post anything that you guys want to post that would be beneficial for other photographers out there. And so I just want to keep the group clean, keep it friendly, keep it nice, and just make sure everybody's having a good time. So if you want to join again, just go ahead and click there. I'm only really announcing it right now on the PictureMonk podcast. I'm only really announcing on the podcast right now just because I want to see, the true fans. I want to see them join that first. So Head on over again to PictureMonk.com/nation to join that, or just go to Facebook and type in Facebook PictureMonk Nation, whatever. You got what I'm saying. So now that my screensaver is kicked in, that means I'm talking way too long. So thank you guys for joining me in this video. I didn't really have any news or anything like that, but if you want links to the Facebook group, head on over to PictureMonk.com and you can see all that stuff there. So thank you everybody for joining me for this video. This is the second time I'm recording this, actually the third time I'm recording this. So I'm really happy that I made it all the way through. So thanks again for joining me in this video. Please remember to rate and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next week. And have a good week shooting.